They can't hide when you know this. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt that something was just off? Like a quiet warning inside you whispered, be careful. But you couldn't explain why. That is often how evil reveals itself. Not through obvious signs, not through horror movie villains or monsters hiding in dark alleys, but in the quiet unease you feel around certain people. People who seem perfectly normal on the outside. Evil is tricky that way. It hides behind friendly faces, polite smiles, even kind words. It walks among us, in schools, at work, in churches, sometimes even in the homes of those we trust most. And that's what makes it so dangerous. You see, we often think of evil as something big, dramatic, something we'll clearly recognize. But the truth? Evil doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't wear a sign. It often shows up wearing the mask of familiarity. That's why Stoic philosophy teaches us not just to look at appearances, but to understand human nature deeply. Because the people who want to harm you rarely start by looking like villains. They blend in, they earn your trust, and they wait. And here's the hard truth. You don't recognize evil with your mind first. You recognize it with your gut. Long before your brain starts analyzing things, your heart often knows. Have you ever had that gut feeling about someone and later realized you were right? Maybe they betrayed you. Maybe they manipulated you. Or maybe they left you questioning yourself. It happens more often than we like to admit. But here's the good news. Recognizing this pattern is the first step to protecting yourself. When you see through someone's facade, when you recognize their true nature, they will react. And the way they react speaks volumes about who they really are. That's what we're going to explore today. The real behaviors that evil people show when they realize you figured them out. Because when evil knows you see it, it doesn't stay silent. It fights back. It tries to manipulate you, confuse you, or even make you doubt your own instincts. But if you understand their tactics, if you stay grounded in truth, you won't fall for their games. You'll rise above them, with wisdom, with strength, and with calm resilience. So, are you ready to uncover the truth that most people choose to ignore? Let's begin. 1. They change their image and craft a new reputation. Let me ask you something. Have you ever called someone out for their toxic behavior, only to watch them suddenly transform into a completely different person? It's like overnight they rewrite their story, they act like the past never happened, and somehow they want you to believe it too. This is one of the oldest tricks in the book. When a toxic person realizes that you've figured them out, they don't face the truth. They don't take responsibility. Instead, they shift the narrative. They try to reinvent themselves. New image, new reputation, new version of the same old lies. Maybe they tell you, I've changed, or I was going through a hard time back then. Sometimes they even flip the script and make you feel guilty. You misunderstood me. You never really knew what I was going through. Sound familiar? It's not just about saving face. It's about keeping control. Because they know if they can make you question your judgment, if they can blur the lines between truth and fiction, they can still manipulate you. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And toxic people understand this all too well. They know that if they can plant doubt in your mind, they can stain your perspective and twist your view of reality. I've seen this happen in workplaces, friendships, even family relationships. You confront someone for lying, cheating, betraying you, and suddenly they become the changed person. They show up with apologies, stories of personal growth, even tales of how life has humbled them. But here's the truth. Most of the time, it's just another mask, a cover-up, a carefully crafted act meant to make you second-guess yourself. And once you doubt your instincts, once you let that sliver of doubt creep in, they've won. Because the moment you think, maybe I was too harsh, maybe they've really changed, that's when you open the door for manipulation all over again. Stoicism teaches us to stay grounded in what we know to be true, not swayed by emotional pleas, not softened by well-rehearsed apologies. So next time someone who's hurt you shows up with a brand new story, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this real change or just a clever disguise? Protect your peace, trust your gut, and remember, a new reputation doesn't erase an old pattern. You owe it to yourself to see things clearly and stay free from their toxic games. 2. They give off strange vibes that make you uneasy. Have you ever been around someone, and even though they were smiling, something inside you whispered, something's not right? You couldn't explain it. You couldn't prove it. But deep down, you felt it. That uneasy feeling, that strange energy, it's not your imagination. It's your instincts trying to protect you. When toxic people realize you figured them out, they change. They don't always attack you directly. Instead, they send off this dark, unsettling vibe. They give you that look. They speak with that fake sweet tone. But their energy? It's cold. It's sharp. It feels like a quiet threat. And you start asking yourself, why do I feel uncomfortable around this person now? Let me tell you why. Because once you see through their mask, they know they've lost control over you. And that scares them. So what do? They try to take it back. Not by changing, but by messing with your emotions. They'll hover around, watching too closely, or make small comments that sound innocent, but cut deep. Sometimes they'll cross boundaries, prying into your life, your space, your business. It's like they're sending out a silent message. I'm still in control, and you better not forget it. It's their way of making you doubt yourself, making you question your own gut feelings. But here's the truth. Stoic philosophy teaches us something powerful. We are not disturbed by things, but by the view we take of them. These toxic people want you to see them as a threat. They want you to feel small, insecure, trapped. But that only works if you let it. You can't always stop someone from sending out negative energy, but you can decide not to absorb it. I've been in situations where I walked into a room and instantly felt a heaviness, like the air itself got thicker. And every time, it was because someone in that room held bad intentions. My mistake, back then, was ignoring it. But now, I pay attention. Because your intuition is a gift, and when something feels off, it usually is. Toxic people will project their fear of losing control by trying to make you feel uncomfortable. But you don't have to play their game. Instead, choose calm over fear. Choose awareness over doubt. And most of all, choose to trust yourself. Let them give off whatever energy they want. You walk with peace, clarity, and confidence. Because nothing is more powerful than a calm mind in the face of chaos. 3. They lie to cover up their previous lies. Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught someone in a lie, and instead of coming clean, they spun another lie, and then another, until it felt like you were standing in the middle of a web you couldn't untangle? That's not just a coincidence. That's a strategy. See, when toxic people realize you've uncovered their lies, they panic. But instead of facing the truth, they choose the coward's way out. Long way. They double down on deception. They'll invent new stories, twist old facts, even drag innocent people into the mess. All to protect one thing: their ego. It's like watching someone sinking in quicksand, but instead of reaching for a lifeline, they start digging deeper. And before long, you find yourself caught in a swirl of confusion, wondering what's real, what's fake, and worst of all, if it was somehow your fault for ever trusting them. Sound familiar? It should, because that's exactly how manipulators work. They don't lie just once. They build a system of lies, layer upon layer, until even they start believing their own stories. Why? Because admitting the truth means facing consequences, and they would rather lose your trust than lose their image. But here's where Stoic wisdom gives us a powerful perspective. The great philosopher Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." And that's exactly what happens here. Liars lock themselves in their own ignorance, so afraid of the truth that they'd rather live in a fantasy world built on falsehoods. I've seen this happen in relationships, agents' business deals, even in friendships I once thought were genuine. At first, I blamed myself for not seeing the signs sooner. Of the Leon, it is seen a grating, but over time, I realized, agents, their lies weren't my failure, a grating. They were their choice. And I learned something critical. The more someone lies, the more they reveal who they truly are. So what do you do when you catch someone like this? You stop expecting honesty from a person who fears the truth. You don't argue. You don't chase after explanations. Because the moment you start playing their game, you lose control of your peace. Instead, agents. You stand firm in your clarity. You choose truth over manipulation. And you remind yourself, agents, their lies are not a reflection of your worth, but a loud declaration of their weakness. Never forget, you have the power to walk away from the web they're spinning. And sometimes, agents, the greatest strength is refusing to get tangled in their deception. 4. They only show up when it benefits them. Have you ever had someone in your life who always seemed to show up, agents all? Right when they needed something, agents, but the moment you needed them, agents, they disappeared without a trace. At first, you might think, agents, well, maybe they're just busy, agents, or they probably have a lot going on. But over time, you start to notice a pattern. They're always around when there's something in it for them. And when the tables turn, when you need support, a favor, even just a listening ear, they vanish. This isn't just bad timing. This is manipulation. Toxic people are masters at pretending to care, as long as it serves their agenda. They'll put on the perfect mask, the loyal friend, the caring partner, the helpful colleague, until you see who they really are. And when they realize you've caught on, they don't stick around to prove you wrong. They only return when they think they can still get something from you. It's like that old saying, they weren't a friend, they were a favor collector. They don't value you for who you are. They value you for what they can take from you. Maybe it's your kindness. Maybe it's your influence. Maybe it's your resources, your connections, your time. And the worst part? They'll test your forgiveness. They'll wait until you've healed and then come back with sweet words, fake apologies, or sob stories, hoping you'll let them back in. But here's the truth. Stoic wisdom teaches us, you don't have to carry people who only weigh you down. Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. It's not your job to fix selfish people. It's your job to protect your peace. Because every time you let a user back into your life, you give them another chance to take advantage of your trust. I've learned this the hard way. People who leave when it's inconvenient for them will leave again. People who come around only when they benefit are not your friends. So what should you do? You stop opening the door for people who only knock when they need something. You choose relationships built on mutual respect, not manipulation. And you remind yourself you're not here to be someone's backup plan, emergency fund, or emotional crutch. You're here to live with integrity, purpose, and strength. And sometimes, walking away from people who only show up when it suits them is the most powerful thing you can do. 5. They make you feel stupid. Let me ask you something. Have you ever opened up to someone, maybe shared a mistake you made, a doubt you had, or a fear that kept you up at night? And instead of support, you got hit with, oh, you should have known better. Or, seriously, you didn't see that coming? It stings, doesn't it? Not because you expected them to fix your problem, but because deep down, you hope they'd at least understand. But toxic people, they don't offer understanding, they offer humiliation. You see, one of the most common tactics manipulative people use is to make you feel stupid. Not openly, not in a way that everyone else can see, but through subtle jabs, sarcastic comments, and passive-aggressive remarks, all designed to plant a seed of doubt inside your mind. They want you to second-guess yourself, to wonder if you're really as smart, capable, or worthy as you thought. And the more you doubt yourself, the easier it is for them to control you. Because here's the truth. When someone makes you feel small, you're more likely to shrink around them. You stop standing up for yourself. You start apologizing for things you shouldn't even feel guilty about. And before you know it, you're dependent on their approval, craving their validation, hoping one day they'll finally respect you. But they won't, because that was never the goal. Their goal is power, and they gain power by making you feel powerless. I've seen this happen in friendships, relationships, even at work. A boss who constantly belittles your ideas, a partner who mocks your dreams, a friend who laughs at your mistakes in front of others. It's toxic, and it's a game you don't have to play. The Stoics teach us this powerful lesson. Your worth is not determined by others' opinions. It's defined by your character and your choices. So the next time someone tries to make you feel stupid, pause, look at them calmly, and remind yourself, this isn't about me. This is about their need to control. You don't have to fight back with anger. You don't have to explain yourself. You just have to refuse to accept their version of your story, because you are not defined by their words. You are defined by how you rise above them. And once you stop giving them the power to make you feel small, you take back the power to live tall. 6. They pretend they don't know what they did. Have you ever called someone out on something they did wrong? Something hurtful, disrespectful, or just downright cruel? And their response was, "What are you talking about?" Or worse, "I didn't know that bothered you." And suddenly you start questioning yourself. Was I overreacting? Did I misread the situation? Maybe it really was my fault? That right there is one of the oldest tricks in the manipulator's playbook. When toxic people realize you've seen through their facade, they don't come clean. They don't own up. Instead, they play dumb. They act shocked. They act confused. They even act like the victim. Why? Because if they can make you doubt your own feelings, they regain control over the situation. It's called gaslighting, twisting reality until you're no longer sure what's true and what's just in your head. Let me tell you, this is not a sign of innocence. It's a sign of calculated manipulation. I've seen this happen in relationships, in families, even in professional settings. You confront someone about breaking your trust, and instead of apologizing, they throw it back at you. "Why didn't you tell me before? I had no idea you felt that way. You're too sensitive." Sound familiar? They want you to feel bad for feeling bad. But here's the hard truth. A person who truly cares about you doesn't need a manual to know when they've crossed a line. They don't shift blame. They take responsibility. The Stoics teach us that while we can't control others' behavior, we can always control how we respond. So when someone pretends they don't know what they did, don't fall into the trap of over-explaining yourself. Don't shrink, and definitely don't apologize for standing up for your own feelings. Instead, stand your ground, speak your truth, and walk away with your head held high. Because you're not crazy, you're not too sensitive, and you're definitely not wrong for expecting respect. The moment you stop letting people twist your reality is the moment you take your power back. 7. They manipulate and control you. Have you ever met someone who always seems so helpful, so understanding, so ready to offer advice, a shoulder to cry on, or a solution to every problem you didn't even ask for? But over time, you start to notice something strange. Their help always comes with strings attached. Their advice always leads you to do things their way, and their concern starts to feel more like control. This is emotional manipulation in disguise. Toxic people are masters of reading emotions, not to understand you, but to use your feelings against you. They spot your insecurities, your fears, your doubts, and they exploit them. They make you feel like you owe them something for their help, like you need them to make the right decisions. And slowly, without even realizing it, you start giving away pieces of your freedom. It's a dangerous game because it doesn't start with obvious control. It starts with a soft voice, a kind word, and a "trust me, I know what's best for you." But here's the truth. People who truly care about you don't want to control you. They empower you. They support your ability to think, to decide, to grow. Manipulators, on the other hand, thrive on your dependency. They make you doubt your own judgment, so you'll keep running back to them for answers. I've seen this happen in friendships, relationships, even at work. It starts with small decisions. What should I wear? What should I say? But before you know it, You're asking permission to live your own life. And that is not love. That's control. So if someone's help makes you feel weaker, more unsure of yourself, or like you can't move forward without their approval, it's time to step back. Ask yourself, am I being supported or am I being controlled? Because the answer to that question could change your life. The Stoics remind us, you are the master of your own mind. No one has the right to steal your sense of self. Don't let emotional manipulation become the silent thief of your freedom. Stand firm, set boundaries, and remember, true strength comes from trusting your own voice. 8. They twist the truth and make you doubt yourself. Have you ever confronted someone about how they hurt you? And instead of taking responsibility, they flipped the script and made you feel like the crazy one? You tell them, that really hurt me. And they say, you're too sensitive. Or worse, that never even happened. This isn't just lying. This is manipulation at its most dangerous. It's called gaslighting. It's when someone deliberately distorts reality, twists the facts, or dismisses your feelings until you start doubting your own mind. And once you start questioning your own experience, guess what? They've got control over you. Because if they can make you believe you're overreacting, or that your anger, your pain, your gut instinct is wrong, then you stop trusting yourself. And when you stop trusting yourself, you're wide open for manipulation. Let me tell you, I've seen this in toxic relationships, in workplaces, even in families. People who use this tactic will say things like, I was just joking, you're imagining things, or you always make a big deal out of nothing. Sound familiar? These are not harmless comments. These are weapons designed to chip away at your confidence until you start thinking they're right and you're wrong. But here's the truth. Your feelings are valid. Your experiences are real. No one, and I mean no one, has the right to rewrite your story or make you feel like you're broken for feeling hurt. Healthy people listen when you speak your truth. They may not always agree, but they don't try to erase your reality. So if you ever find yourself constantly second-guessing, constantly apologizing, or feeling like you can't even trust your own memory, stop. That's not your fault. That's someone twisting the truth to control you. And the first step to breaking free is to reclaim your voice, to stand firm in your truth, even when others try to make you doubt it. Because the moment you believe in yourself again, they lose their power over you. Don't let anyone steal your clarity. Your truth matters, and you have every right to stand by it. 9. They use silence as a weapon. Have you ever had someone go completely silent on you? Not because they needed space, but because they wanted to punish you. That cold, cutting silence. When they suddenly ignore your calls, your texts, your presence, not for hours, but for days, maybe even weeks, you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Did I upset them? Should I apologize, even if I'm not sure why? This isn't just a bad habit. This is emotional manipulation. And it's one of the most toxic tactics a person can use. It's called the silent treatment. And it works by creating fear, anxiety, and self-doubt inside you. Because when someone deliberately withholds communication, they're not just being quiet. They're trying to control you without saying a word. It's their way of saying, I hold the power. I'll speak when I decide you've suffered enough. It's a passive-aggressive game, one designed to make you feel small, guilty, or desperate for their attention. And let me be clear, healthy relationships don't work like that. In healthy relationships, silence is used for reflection, not for punishment. I've seen this in toxic friendships, in families, in workplaces. The silent treatment becomes a weapon when it's used to punish or manipulate, and it leaves the other person walking on eggshells, constantly guessing, constantly chasing approval. But here's the truth. You don't have to play that game. You don't have to chase after someone who's punishing you with silence. Because when someone uses silence as a weapon, they're showing you exactly who they are. Someone who values control more than connection. And your peace of mind, your self-worth, they're worth more than someone's toxic silence. So the next time someone shuts you out to punish you, Remember this, it's not your job to fix their behavior. It's your job to protect your heart and set boundaries with people who try to control you in this way. Your voice matters, your feelings matter, and you deserve relationships where silence is never used against you. The Stoic lesson that sets you free. At the end of the day, there's one truth life keeps teaching us. You can't control other people's behavior. You can't force them to be honest. You can't make them respect you or treat you the way you deserve. But here's what you can control: your reaction. That's your real power. You decide whether you let someone's toxic words ruin your peace, or whether you rise above it. The Stoics taught this timeless lesson. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the pain we carry doesn't come from what people do to us. It comes from how we choose to carry it. Think about it. How many times have you replayed a hurtful comment over and over in your mind, letting it steal your joy, wreck your confidence, and weigh you down for days? You see, toxic people want that power over you, but they only have it if you hand it to them. So the next time someone disrespects you, lies to you, or tries to manipulate you, pause, breathe, and remember, your calm is your shield. Your peace is your power. Let their behavior reflect who they are, not who you are. Because the moment you choose self-control over reaction, you win. And that's how you rise, not by fighting toxic people, but by refusing to let them pull you into their darkness. So protect your peace, guard your heart, and stay grounded in the truth you know. That's the Stoic way. If this message spoke to you, if you're ready to take back your peace and protect your energy, then don't stop here. We share insights like this every week, lessons from Stoic wisdom, life strategies, and the mindset tools you need to stay strong in a world that keeps testing you. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and join this community of people who choose strength over fear and wisdom over manipulation. Because together, we rise stronger.